Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. And starting on the 1 hour chart here, as we can see that we are still looking for a wave 4 towards the downside. We have seen an A, B, and a C, of course, that it might has unfold, of course, with a wave C still. But of course, we have seen only A and then the B. And I'm gonna explain why this is a wave a B and not an impulse, despite that it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna explain this on the 1 hour chart. So if we move directly on the 1 hour chart here, we can see that of course we are looking at ABC here. Definitely there is no dispute about it. But here where we see that of course we have a like kind of 1, 2, 3 and then 4 and a 5, because your wave 4 did not reach of course your wave 1, which looks like perfect impulse. But the problem starts from here. Your wave 2 did not reach the minimum requirement for a fib level, which is 0.38 fib. Your wave 3 has reached, of course, the uncommon target for a wave 3, but still a target, which is 1.27. That's fine, but if we look here after a correction of a wave 4, if you want to consider this a 1, 2, 3, and then your wave 4 has interfered with your zone 1, which is not allowed, of course, for an impulse in your wave 5. And that is a total invalidation, of course, for your wave 5. This is an A, B, and a C probably. And looking here at 1, 2, 3, even as a 4, it has interfered again, so it's not allowed again. And yeah, make it even A, B, and a C finally, or W, X, Y. Now, we cannot even consider this, okay, if you say this is a contracting diagonal, it can be just, okay, contracting, but your wave 5 is longer than your wave 3, which is not allowed as well for a diagonal based on Elliott wave analysis. So, of course, invalidation of this impulse. There is no wave 5, right? Or what we can say that this can be a W, X, and a Y. A Y, of course, in a zigzag, where you see, of course, here an X, and of course, another zigzag towards the upside. So this is the only possible way to read, of course, this wave, and I'm looking at it, of course, at 3 waves towards the upside after having 3 waves down, and I'm still looking for 5 waves toward the downside, and to finish, of course, because the 1-to-1 fib time, right? Taken from the wave 2 in the orange scenario down, we need to reach, of course, the same time at least. In this case scenario, you have bottomed here before the wave, before the fib 1 fib time, right? So we still need time to, of course, consider that this correction is finished. And that's why I still believe that, of course, we did not finish a wave 4, and we still looking towards the downside. And looking at all the possibilities that we just saw, we can see even here we are still impulsive. By all means, if we move a little bit inside this, you can see here on the 1 hour chart, we have a 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Finishing a wave 1 here, and then you have A with 3 waves, and then B another 3 waves, and 1, 2, 3, 4, not interfering your wave 1, and then 5 finishing a wave C, finishing a wave 2, and then moving towards the downside. So this is exactly my readings for the charts lately, and I think, of course, we are on the good path so far for a wave towards the downside. Now, if we would like to see much more proof that this is what might happen, of course, we have to read some signals from indicators such as the RSI and the KGT, for example, that we can start with it already after this improvement with KGT. So I improved the software somehow to show, of course, the buying signals and the selling signals, and after all, just showing, of course, what is going on inside this trade. By all means, if you have a buy here and you see always higher lows, therefore you have to consider that your buy trend is gonna move higher and higher. As you can see, this is a higher low, higher low, higher low. Each time we get it, we see, of course, higher prices. now until you start to get a very strong selling signals, right? This is of course your sell signal, and don't forget we are on the 1 minute chart, because of course the 1 minute chart shows exactly what's going on inside, of course, the chart and what is going on for the next time. So after the sell here, you start to see, of course, a lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And as you can see, we can see the price moving towards the downside. We get those lower highs each time we reach, of course, the peak here of the trend. And you see, of course, a push towards the downside. Now, as you can see, for the buyers, it's true there is some pressure with the buyers, but don't forget that those are lower lows right now. After having this last low, those are lower, and we start to see some weakness for the buyers here. And where we see, of course, at the end here, it could still consider that this is higher than the buy signal already given here, and then moving towards the upside again. And of course, we can see now the sellers are, of course, weaker, but that because only of your wave C, where we have, of course, an A here, A, B, and a C, of course, towards the downside, towards the upside, your wave C, of course, and then moving towards the downside after finishing it. And as you can see here, we start to get even lower highs, right, for the sellers. And that means, of course, the sellers are getting a power again, and then, of course, they might push this trend towards the downside. But of course, preferably that we finish one more wave towards the upside. So possibly we're gonna still see some buyers coming in to finish this wave 5 for your impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then of course, moving towards the downside. So somehow KGT still with our Elliott wave analysis, where we want to see a little bit higher prices. You see, of course, higher lows, of course, and of course lower lows, where in your wave 5 the price start to consolidate in your wave 5, and then of course moving towards the downside, since your last trade is given signal as sell. Now let's take a look, of course, on the RSI. The RSI shows, of course, something interesting. And starting, of course, on the 1 hour chart, you cannot really see anything, but on the 15-minute chart, we can see kind of like some, like starting to have some divergence. When by all means, in that top, if you get one more high, all right, with the price, you will start to get a very clear divergence. Yeah. So one more high, giving a higher prices, giving a little bit higher here for a top, that will create a divergence, which is a bearish divergence, and we're gonna move towards the downside. This is a confirmation as well, of course, for this wave C, that once it might finish with one more leg towards the upside, it might move towards the downside. Now, of course, on the RSI, there is not so much interesting signals on the daily, and because, of course, we already saw this before, the weekly, there is a big RSI signal, but still too early to call. However, let's move to the MACD. In the MACD, the most interesting one is the daily. So on the daily, we can see, of course, let me clean up. Okay, on the daily, we can see that, we have some red candles here, but it doesn't mean that we're moving towards the downside. I know even that you look for a bearish cross, but it's, don't be so afraid of it. We might still have, of course, some 2-3 candles, of course, here to fill up. And don't forget that it might start to move to the light color, red color, which, of course, it might be a higher prices in that case, right? So don't forget that this can make a bullish cross sooner or later, exactly in this point, and where we gonna finish our wave C as a range here, and then moving towards the upside for your wave 5. So be careful. Just 2 candles or 3 candles might finish, of course, as this red, this red trend here or volume, and then even reverse the trend, making a bullish cross and start to move for your wave 5 towards the upside. So this is what MACD can shows us. Of course, we still need to finish this red zone. And we still need, of course, to move towards the downside. It tells us, of course, with 2 candles or 3 candles maybe to finish an ABC, and then, of course, moving towards the upside. This was for the MACD. Of course, if we take a look at the Bollinger Bands here, Bollinger Bands, well, the Bollinger Bands doesn't show a really strong one, but only I can say, okay, on the daily, after this stretch towards the upside, of course, you need some kind of like a consolidation. And in that case, I think the price is gonna just simply hit this. And I think the consolidation with Bollinger Band is a squeeze. All right. So when a consolidation or correction starts on the trend, Bollinger Bands, of course, start to squeeze like this, and then prepare, of course, for a move, somehow a very strong move, and start to stretch one more time again. So in that case scenario, I think that the wave C is gonna hit this bottom line, and then of course start to range here for 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, and then 1 2, and then booming towards the upside. And in that case scenario, your Bollinger Bands will be squeezing, and then of course with your wave 3, it's gonna start to go higher and higher. So that was it for the indicator analysis, and of course for the wave, for the Elliott wave analysis as well on the 1 hour chart. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments and likes. See you in the next one. Bye bye.